tired of being so confused. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dude.
Hey, Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
What is going on? Don't Unfriend Me Nation. I just wish one of these days would not be stressful. My name is Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. There it is. She's learning, folks. Olivia Spear, folks, is here. You want to say hello and push the button?
Hello, dummies.
She did it without me asking. It's Olivia Spear, folks. It's the wife. She's amazing. She wants to slap me right now because I was frustrated. We couldn't get on. And stress. But stress is over. This is The Dumb Show, officially.
Facebook is having issues and it will not load for me. Sorry, trying to get it up.
That doesn't matter. That is not important. The button pushing is the most important thing. That's your job. You're the Vanna White. Without Vanna White, no Pat Sajak.
Actually, pushing the button's your job. Yeah,
it is. It is. But just temporarily, do you really want me to do this on camera?
No.
Folks, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's good to have you here. My name is Matthew Spear. As I said, we are going to have a show tonight. Should be interesting. You want to run a test on that to make sure they're working real quick? And give me a sound effect. Random sound effect. You pick. Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard that.
Okay, well, I heard that too, so that works. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Let's see what we've got going on. Sorry, folks. There is a recorded show tonight. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on until after this show. I just ran out of time. We'll give you an update on the court date today and what happened. We're going to talk about AOC and her reaction to the Parents' Right bill, which did pass in the House. It's going to fail miserably in the Senate. We all know this. Because parents shouldn't have rights, right? Is that what the Democrats say? Parents shouldn't have rights, Liv?
Of course not. Why would we get any rights?
That's right. You shouldn't have any rights. And we're talking about Syria and Iran, and an American soldier was struck by a drone, actually a contractor, excuse me. I want to be very, very clear. And the response from the United States, nothing, nil, zilch, nada, nothing. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Folks, you can call into the show, and you should, if you would not mind. Please do that. And the number is coming to a theater near you, right there. You can call that number, and you can be put through the Skype hotline, the dummy hotline. You will be connected and we can have a conversation. If you want to as well, you can also use this link to come on live. It just went on to YouTube, to Twitch, and hopefully Facebook shortly.
Just so you know, Facebook is like a minute behind.
It happens. But that doesn't matter because we're not a minute behind. We didn't go back in time.
No, I'm just letting you know for my purposes with reading comments, and if comments come on the screen, they're going to be very delayed.
Comments are always delayed. That's the way this works. All right, so let's get some chat in here. Let's find out what's going on. We're getting some people. Everyone's crawling in here, slowly but slowly. Let's get the chat window open. Like, once again, you got the number down here, lower left-hand corner. Please give us a call. We've got, let's see, watching in Louisiana. Dale's on. Hello, Dale. Isaac. Matt and Dummies. Maureen is on. Hello, Maureen. Tina Savage. Roxanne. You don't have to turn out the red lights. Janet, welcome. Lee. Bobby from Oregon. Wow, we have an Oregon person? Hold on a second. Now, time out. How the heck do we have somebody from Oregon on here? I thought, is it free? Is Oregon free? Do they allow that type of stuff? I'm confused. I didn't think Oregon would allow people to watch my show. Let me know. Let me know. It's good to have you here either way. Appreciate you letting me poke fun of you. Okay. Lee, I already said that. Michelle, hello. May have to out early. My daughter is going to be here this weekend. Tell your daughter to get her priorities straight, Michelle. I mean, seriously. Like if we were what?
Hayden needs me.
Then Hayden can come in. Tell her to come in. What? Here we go. That's a perfect example. See, my daughter wants my wife, just like you said. And you know what she said? Tough. The show's on. Come in here. You should tell your mom your daughter the same thing. I'm watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. If you need me, come get me. See, it works, Michelle. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Warming slightly in Iowa. Good. Carrie, hello. Dottie. Danny says suppity. Bow out. Hate spell check. That's okay. Tammy Tennyson. Craig. Hey, Miss Tammy. Tina says. Tina, is that your officer photograph? That's interesting. Is that you? So officer ready. Look at you. Wow. Sherry, hello. Matt, Chicago, Illinois here. Hello, Chicago. Thomas Austin, hi to all. Made it through the week. Thomas, good to have you, buddy. Dottie, it's frozen. Hello, everyone. Stick it in the microwave.
I think Facebook's having issues tonight.
Why?
Because mine was really late and it froze at first. So
it's okay. Let's be positive. We don't want to curse Facebook. Just let's let it matriculate. And
do you want to know what she wanted?
Yeah.
She wants to get Nintendo online so she can play Nintendo with her friends right now. That was the important thing.
Let her do it. Okay. What's the problem? She knows the password. She already hacked it. Say yes. Don't buy anything or we'll break her. I'll break you. Colleen Stewart, hello. Dottie is already been said hello to you. Terry, what's up, Terry? Good to see you, buddy. Danny, and once again, Loris, hi from Maine. How's Maine doing? Debbie, hi, everyone. Bad week. I'm glad it's Friday. Hope everyone had a great week. Debbie, good to see you. I'm already yawning. That's not a good sign. Joel, Judy. James is in the house. Hello, James. Nate. Jeremy Rigter. Hello from Washington. Every day is stressful in this shit show we're living in. Amen. Let's go, Brandon. Dun, 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 dun. Jeanette says. Thomas says, that sounded like my ex-girlfriend. Sup, dummies. Bubba says, what's up?
I sound like your ex-girlfriend? Or is it that's a bad thing?
You know what my ex-girlfriend sounds like. Do we have a hold my baby or anything? There's something going on there?
I didn't know she was Mexican.
You're Mexican.
I am, but I'm not your ex.
You could be. We keep it up. We keep forgetting where the button is.
This is your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, but you gotta do the come on, do the baby thing. That one's funny. That's great. She's a witch. Ha ha ha. I know.
Hey, Christina Lopez.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
That's
Remember me? You want some
shit?
Huh? You want?
Did you turn it off?
No, that's all we had.
Where she's like, hold my baby.
I don't think we got that.
I gotta get that.
Psycho check, psychos.
Yeah, totally.
That is her.
Sandra Casey, Kristen, hello. Good evening from Spanish Fort, Alabama. That's a new one. You know what I need to do? On the website, I need to get a map. And I've got a list of where all my listeners are from. And I think it would be kind of cool to get a board made where, or maybe digital or something, that can have a pin where everybody is around the world. That'd be neat.
That would be neat.
Nate, Illinois here. We get a lot of people from Illinois. See how I didn't say Illinois? I'm learning. Hey, y'all. Ready? Does everyone understand y'all is Y apostrophe A-L-L, not Y-A, because that would be Yael. It's Y apostrophe A-L. Okay. We are being watched, Bobby says. That's funny. Washington is barely free. Excuse us, it's pictures of margaritas and tacos time outside of Kansas City, Missouri. Roger that. Florida here, thankful for you dummies. Dottie. Matt asks Lex what he thinks of the Syrian crisis. Hi, Alex. Hold on. What's up?
What do you need?
I just need mom.
Oh,
No, you don't need just mom. You need me.
Wallet,
what do you want?
I'm getting Nintendo.
You have to say it in the mic. If you interrupt the show, you got to say it in the mic.
I'm getting
in the mic.
I'm getting Nintendo online.
Yeah, but what's the problem?
Mom needs to fill out her.
They can't hear you.
Mom needs to fill out the information because I don't know it.
And you had to wait until I'm on the show to do this?
I didn't know.
What's the information you need?
She needs a credit card.
It's $10 per month and it has a lot of benefits because we can play.
Don't try to sell me. I'm the salesman in the family. Zip it. $10 a month?
No, $10 per year.
Talk to her.
$10
Through the mic.
per year.
Through the mic.
$10 per year.
That's how you project your voice. $10 for Nintendo. Hold on now. I've only spent like $375 on games this month. I got to figure out if we can afford this.
Only.
Give her the $10.
Dude, okay.
Give her the
Credit
10.
card.
What credit card? We have like 30.
Oh my God. What's going on?
Oh my God, what's going on?
Play it. Do it. Do it. You have. You can't say it if you don't do the sound effect.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Folks, we're having a technical problem. We'll be done in a minute. Family.
This one, right here, and then put it back.
You just gave her. The last time we gave you a credit card, you went to CVS and bought candy and stole from us. Answer the get on the mic. Make a promise right now.
Okay.
I'm not going to buy anything.
I'm not.
No, let's do this right. Put your hand in the air.
Wait, do we have a Bible?
No, that's good. Just put it right there.
On your phone.
Get on the phone. No. Get on the microphone. I do solemnly swear.
This.
Hey.
Here, I'm going.
I state your name.
Here, I have to hold.
Will you get on there?
I,
State your name.
Hayden Spear,
Solemnly swear and affirm
solemnly swear and affirm
that I will only charge $10 for Nintendo monthly.
that I will
Only charge $10 annually. Sorry.
that I will only charge $10 for Nintendo annually.
Annually.
And if I don't,
And if I don't,
I'll burn in hell.
I'll go to heaven.
Pluribus. Okay, get out.
Take it.
Unum.
Put my credit card back.
Okay. I totally know how
Get
to
out.
do this.
Get out. Get out.
I
Love you.
never had a freaking break. She texted me the whole time I'm at the volleyball game with Ethan. It's like, seriously. I have more than one child.
Maine is totally blue. Just listen to Jack McKay. Don't know what to make of the shit he says. I don't know who that is. My wife again. That would be cool. Norway here. Alexander is from Norway. Jazzy, good to see you, buddy. Depends on where the South you are from, Matt. The real South. The only South.
Ryan Samuels is in the house. Do you guys have like a bromance thing going on?
What you talking about?
He thinks you're hot.
Of course he does. Who doesn't?
So do I need to be worried?
No. Just as worried as any of the other thousands of people who feel the exact same way about me. I get it. I look at myself every time in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I would do me. And before you came along, I readily did.
Oh, on Hayden's YouTube page?
Yeah.
The video she posted of her pretending to throw up because somebody said her dad was hot. Somebody actually did go on and say your dad's hot. And then I did too, and she got mad at me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I said, that's not the first time someone's going to tell you that. Just get used to it.
Okay. Judy Gurley, that's a nice way to put it. Share dat. Hayden, take the card and run. Canada
She did that last year. That didn't work out so well for her.
Canada is, you got to push the button when you do that.
Oh.
That I made you an amazing button.
But when I'm just saying itty bitty little
yeah, I know,
things,
but occasionally let people know so they're not like, who's Jesus? Mary Magdalene? Who's talking? You got to let them know who it is.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool graphic. Matt is so hot. I get it. How many people are here from the Netherlands, Matt? Oof, maybe one. This money for a vertical, horizontal refreshment, then it's not against the law. 2 people can have sex. And if you leave $2,000 on the bedside table, nobody cares. And that's the truth. The problem where you get in trouble in most states is people saying the following: how much do you want for sex? Through text messages or voicemail or whatever. But this ultimately has to be done on the eve or during the process of paying for sex. Like, you can talk to somebody through text all day long and say, I'm going to give you $10,000 and I'm going to nail you to the cross.
Oh my God.
Some people are into freaky shit. Just saying. And you can say
the Iron Cross.
If it's a what?
The Iron Cross, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, isn't that what it's called? I love how you tried to go innocent at the end. I wonder if
No,
that's
I
what
just
it's
couldn't
called.
remember what it's called.
You knew damn well what it was called, considering we have a 12-foot one in our own bedroom. So you can talk about it all you want over text, and you can get descriptive. You can say, I'm going to pay you for this. Right. And you can do all that. But once the actual deed is in person and a transaction can be taking place, that's the illegal part of it. Because there's plenty of precedent where prostitutes and Johns have been caught verbally over recordings or over the telephone, and been courted by third parties or by the perpetrators themselves. And it's considered fantasy role play. You can't hold somebody accountable for talking. But once money changes hand, then there's a problem. Now, in no way, shape, or form are they going after Trump because he had sex with a prostitute. In fact, Democrats encourage that often. And it's not the fact that he paid her off, because if Trump would have just paid her off, that's fine too. It's not against the law in New York. What's against the law in New York is that the money that he paid her, the $130,000, he gave not to her, and Cohen did. Cohen took a loan for it, got the $130,000, gave it to Stormy Daniels, and Donald Trump paid it back to Cohen, third party, for $35,000 a piece until it was paid off, 350 some odd thousand in segmented payments, and wrote it off as you're really spamming the ads a lot. So do it like every 5 minutes.
Well, I couldn't see it. I didn't know.
Yeah, but every time you push it, it's like, oh my God, I just pushed it.
Well, they weren't showing up on Facebook. That's
because
I'm
it's a
saying.
minute behind. Just push it and leave it alone. I have them to auto close, by the way. You don't need to push it again. I set that up for you. I know. That's what I'm here for you. So, and then putting it down as lawyer referral payments, or however he categorized it, is falsification of records. Now, that is a misdemeanor. Okay, everyone understand? That's a misdemeanor. There's really not much there. That's not that big of a deal, especially in New York. So nobody's getting their skirt flipped up over that bad boy. Why is my camera so close? Hold on. I mean, I feel like I'm being extremely intimate with y'all. Hold on. Gotta get this fixed. Drive me up the frickin' wall. Okay. Oh, it's zoomed into hell. There we go. Jeez, I was like, I think people, I know that Ryan Samuels wants to see me, but doesn't want to see that much of me. So that's a misdemeanor. Now, here's the tricky trees part about this. Tricky trees is, what do you think would turn it into a felony? Let's see if we can pick this up. Let me help you, Liv. You ready? Mm-hmm. Do we have some Jeopardy music? No? Okay.
No, we don't. Oh, we've got a TikTok.
No, we call it a clock. We don't do TikTok. Okay. If you have drugs in a vehicle and it's enough for distribution, not personal consumption, is it a crime?
Yes.
In most places.
Yes.
Most places, right?
Most places. It depends on the drug, but yes.
Okay. Heroin.
Yes, I think it's illegal in all places.
It's illegal in all places, and the amount of, whether it's for personal consumption or distribution, either way, does not carry the same type of heavy penalty, but it is still, you're going to jail, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, say you have a gun with you.
With the heroin?
With the heroin. Now, is that a separate crime, or does it extenuate or add to the drug charge with distribution as being a drug dealer, and then also could be charged with attempted murder, just having a gun because you have the intent to distribute? The different states have different rules and laws, but
I would think it adds on. Wouldn't
it adds on. That's right. It bolts on. It's a tack on. It will be tried separately, but it increases the drug offense and the possession offense no matter what, whether it's for personal consumption or for distribution. Okay, so knowing that, what is the only way that misdemeanor charge, which would be falsifying documents, could be enhanced? If what happens? Something else would need to happen for that to happen.
I have no idea.
Gosh.
I did not.
It's okay.
I didn't take criminal justice.
I just gave you a lesson in it. So this is what would have to happen. If it is in amended or attached to another crime taking place, then it becomes a felony. And because it was money paid out of his campaign inadvertently by third party for attorney's fees, and that's not what it was for, it then becomes an election fraud or a campaign election issue through the FEC, with tied together with the falsifying of documents, becomes a felony. You understand? Mm-hmm. So that's why Bragg is charging a felony. Now, here's the thing. We know why Bragg is charging a felony, because the statute of limitations ran out and he was slow to play. When he came in and took over the role, he fired the two main prosecutors taking care of Horseface, Michael Avenatti. I'm sorry, not Horseface, but Stormy Daniels. So Stormy Daniels.
I'm going.
I know, but you're laughing. You got to push the button when I say it, because now I'm sitting here waiting for it. Wow, what timing. So Stormy Daniels, Michael Avenatti, this case goes through. Michael Cohen gets thrown in the clinker. Bragg has an opportunity to push the grand jury forward, and a grand jury has a statute of limitations. A grand jury can only, it's on a clock. And so why now? Well, it's obvious. Bragg has been getting pressure to indict Trump. Georgia doesn't look as good as they thought it did, even though they're still hanging their hat that that's serious. Joe Biden literally did a shit sandwich on the document scandal of taking documents home, and Pence did too. Sounds like everybody and their mother took home documents. And you know what Obama's doing? He's whoa. Let's stop this grab ass on the documents, because I've got like 146 boxes myself, and this shit needs to stop. Right? I'm sure there was an Obama voice in there. I don't know. I mean, I only put sound bites in there for you to push the button.
Do you want to tell the story, or are you going to let me finish?
So anyway, Obama probably put up the penalty flag and said, let's stop. So now you've got Georgia, and you've got several other lawsuits. I mean, Trump's being sued by everybody. I mean, they're just ganging up at this point. It's funny. People used to make fun of, yuppies being in BMWs and lawyers kind of being the rich and elite. The Democrats have become the elite. I mean, they are this uppity, snotty, rich, Harvard educated. I'm from Boston, Yale, and I went to an Ivy League school, and I'm going to take my accent so I sound like this when I come out with my degree. Hello, Puffy. And they're just this uppity, elitist class. And like I told you, the Republican Party and the liberal Democrats kind of switched the fundamentals. Like, it's insane. Free speech was always a Democrat platform through the ACLU, the NAACP. It was always there. The Rainbow Coalition was always, freedom of speech was the most important thing. Hell, they defended Nazis, the ACLU, because of free speech. And now this seems to be a Republican thing. Family values and focused on, education used to be a Democrat talking point. Now it's ours. We're like, the education system's broken. It doesn't work. It's woke. And I don't quite understand. You look at free trade, that was a Democrat policy. Even guns, surprisingly enough, wasn't as jaded as it is right now. And it just seems like the Democrats have lost their farkin' minds. So to go back to this, Donald Trump is more than likely, it was upgraded to a felony because they attached another charge on it, or at least the grand jury's trying to. And this is where it created a problem. Because if it was going to be a misdemeanor, they're not going to perp walk him for a misdemeanor. Unless it's Virginia, where I live. Sons of bitches. We'll talk about that in a minute. What they would do is they would do a conference. He would get served papers. It would be a conference. It would be done over remote. He would have the charges read against him. The lawyer would say, we understand, blah, 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 blah. This isn't the time to plead innocence or guilt. This is just a notification that there's enough evidence to move forward, that an indictment has taken place, and now criminal charges are going to be brought up against Donald Trump. Does everyone understand? Good. That would be a misdemeanor. Now, when you attach a felony to it, it's a little bit different, but this is a high-profile person. Even with felonies like DUIs, that people are brought in on their own recognizance. They're brought in at their own timeline. They negotiate. They don't send out a squad car and pick people up. They surrender themselves all the time and go to the police station and go in through intake. They get handcuffed because everyone has to be handcuffed. They get fingerprinted. They may play a little fucky in one of the cells if they're up to it, right before dinner. Depends on who you are and what you like, and I'm not judging. But no perp walk. So when this whole bragg thing happened, and I want to be clear, everyone's saying Donald Trump released this, that he was going to be, this is bullshit. It is 100% lies. In no way, shape, or form was Donald Trump the first one to release that he was going to be arrested on Tuesday. The Krassenstein brothers, the dipshits on Twitter, had it up 5 days, 2 days before Trump said anything. It was going around like crazy. And if you think I'm full of shit, I want to show you a video. Because I love doing videos. I love bringing the receipts. So all the liberal, now everyone listen to me because this is important. You better share this out now because this is a good video. Is you've got all these liberals saying, oh, hey, we didn't release this. This was Donald Trump that released this. It wasn't us. Donald Trump released fake news for fundraising apparatus. And this wasn't the Democrats. The Democrats didn't say anything like this. We didn't say he was going to be arrested. Well, I've got the receipts. And not only do I have the receipts, I have the receipts for the last, 5 years. To show you that this has been the narrative. Now, I didn't cut this video. I'll get the name for you. And I forgot to write it down. But you can get this. This guy cuts videos, and he's fantastic. And I can't remember his name. And I always give credit. So I'm going to do this. In the show notes, I'll go back, and Olivia and I will give you the credit. But this guy cuts amazing videos that are just unbelievable when it comes to the left. And I love it. Love it. I didn't do this video, but I am going to play it, and I want you to watch it. I'll get the name while we watch the video. Here, take a gander at this.
The walls feel like it.
Got a broadcast. Hold on. All right, let's see if we can get this playing.
Closing in. As the walls.
All right.
The walls feel like they are closing in.
As the walls close in around the president.
Donald Trump feels the walls closing in.
I think this is a guy who feels like the walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on him.
Because the walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on the president.
Now the walls appear to be closing in.
Really kind of the walls closing in on him.
The walls are closing in because the walls are indeed closing in.
I think at this point, the walls are spinning.
The legal walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on President Trump.
The walls, meanwhile, are closing in on the President of the United States.
The walls closing in on President Donald Trump.
It appears that the walls are closing in on this president.
Feels that the walls are closing in on him.
The walls closing in on him.
The walls are closing in.
And the walls are closing in on...
That the walls are closing in on the president.
Are the walls closing in?
The walls are closing in on the presidency.
It says as the walls begin to close around him. The political walls closing in on him.
This is a president that feels the walls closing in. The walls are closing in on Donald Trump.
I think the walls are finally closing in.
The walls.
The walls.
The walls.
The walls.
The walls.
Walls.
And the walls.
The walls. The walls.
The walls.
Walls
are closing.
Closing in.
Closing.
Closing in.
Closing in.
closing in on.
It's closing in.
The walls are closing in
On President Donald Trump.
He's not looking forward to any of it. He's horrified. He's just talking big. The walls are closing in, as has been said before.
So you got all the way from 2017 till 2023. I will get the credit, the proper credit to that video. Now, it's all in the public space, and there's nothing copyrighted from this gentleman, but he took the time to cut this video, and I got to give him credit. I've used his stuff before, and I will do the same thing again. I got to give him props, because anybody who puts that much work into it, it's fantastic. It's a wonderful cut. But this isn't the first time we've seen this. I mean, they've been saying this for 5 years. And 6 years, nothing's going to change. This is going to be the same thing. So but everyone needs to understand, did Trump do something wrong? Yes. Yes, he did. By the letter of the law, he broke the law. Okay? But nobody cared. Because it's a chicken shit charge. He did not want the media to get a hold of this. He didn't want the negative publicity. He went ahead and he cloaked the payment as something other than what it was. And honestly, who cares? Who cares? When you've got Joe Biden giving $150 billion to Ukraine with no receipts, who gives a shit? When you have Joe Biden and family taking millions of dollars from China, who gives a shit? When you've got a president who has an open border, who refuses to secure it, fentanyl is coming through at a rapid rate, illegals are coming in at a rapid rate, who gives a shit? When inflation is literally crippling middle America and small business, who gives a shit? Can we stop pretending that this is the most important thing? Now, in Georgia, once they listened to the recordings and everything else, if Donald Trump called Kemp and said, you need to find votes no matter what it takes and make sure I win, okay, Trump needs to probably go to prison. I'm just telling you, at least for a period of time. Because that is breaking the law, and it's a felony. It's extortion. It's fraudulent corruption. It's election fraud. It's serious. Do I think he did that? No. I think Trump did what Trump always did. Called and said, come on, man, there's got to be 1,000 votes. There's got to be 10,000 votes. There's got to be some votes out there you guys are missing. Are you doing everything you can as governor? Remember who got you here to ensure that we are getting the proper counts on these votes. Did he do that? Yeah. And if he did that, that's not breaking the law. Is it highly a poor choice? Sure. But it's not breaking the law. So there's 2. 3, the rape charge in New York. Give me a break. Have you seen this lady? No offense. There's people out there, well, why won't he give up his DNA? Why should he? Unless he's been arrested for something, he has no reason to comply with any of this stuff. Because if he does give his DNA, he's going to be held accountable that, he did it because he knows he did something wrong, or maybe he used a condom, or maybe he did this, or maybe he did that, or maybe it's going to create the left won't care. Donald Trump could cure cancer, find unicorns, and ride in on Bigfoot, and they would still complain that Bigfoot brought mud tracks into the press conference room. Unicorn horn absolutely stabbed somebody. And cancer, well, look at all the money we've spent. What are we going to do with all these Hopkins hospitals? What are we going to do? Look at all these people who are out of jobs now because cancer is no longer in existence. The left will find something to bitch about no matter what. Here's what it comes down to. Why don't we do something completely unique? And why don't you just run against the man and see where the chips lay? Because honestly, he's in a real bad spot. And he's not necessarily the most popular guy in the world. And he doesn't have 2016 going for him running against Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden's at 51%. That's not the greatest favorability, but it's enough to beat Trump. Nobody cares about this crap because when you saw it in 2022, nobody cared. Donald Trump's criminal investigation and Hunter Biden's lap, none of that shit mattered. Nobody cares about that. That doesn't put food on the table. It doesn't take away family members with drug addiction and death. It doesn't send people over wantonly where contractors are being killed overseas because we shouldn't even be in Syria to begin with. So there it is. The walls are closing in. Right. Right. Talk about the boys and girls, the non-binary peoples who cried wolf. Now, am I saying that there is no way in hell that Donald Trump raped somebody? No, I'm not stupid enough to say that. But there's a but. There was 16, 17, 18, 19 women in allegations of sexual misconduct. Where are they all at? Now that he's out, where are they?
They disappeared. Poof.
Where'd they go?
They got paid off by the Democrats.
It's kind of like Brett Kavanaugh. You know? They had this whole thing. Where did she go?
Where's her truth now?
Where's her truth? What about her bullshit? I mean, that whole thing, what was her name? Michelle Blasey Ford, 3 women names. Oh my God. They're evil. No offense to all my 3 women names in here. No offense to you. But pick something. Either keep your last name or take your husband's name and shut up. Your ex-boyfriend isn't going to check on you. You've put on 40 fucking pounds since you were in high school. You don't look anything as good as you used to. He's not coming back. Change your fucking name to your husband or keep your last name, or you will always be maligned with people like Lee Harvey Oswald and Hillary Rodham Clinton. Pick a name. Sorry for the language. Pick a name. Who's the guy? Who's the hockey player with the 3 names that we just can't stand?
Erickson Eck.
Yeah, Erickson Eck and then Nugent Hopkins. Right. Oh my, I'm just like, dude, guys, come here. What's wrong with you? Well, that's my name. I don't care. Shorten it. Cut it down. It's just stupid when you see people, Michelle Rodriguez Smith Jones. Pick a name. What do you think about that? I mean, was there any time in your head that you said, I'm not going to take Matt's last name?
No. I'm traditional. I've always, since I was old enough to dream about getting married, I always thought I'd take my husband's last name. Even when I had crushes, when I was a little girl, I had crushes. I'd be like, ooh, so-and-so's last name is Smith, Olivia Smith. How does that sound? We all did it.
Yeah, you were always demented.
I wasn't demented.
You wanted to get married so fast. You were just like...
Well, it's not like there was much going for me in my town.
That's true.
There's not much going on up there.
It's like after the 5th night we knew each other, you're like, I love you.
No. No, I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yes, you did. Mm-mm. Yes, you did. I've got the claw marks to prove it.
Wait, having sex and saying I love you are totally different things.
You told me you loved me on night 5.
So did you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You asked me to move in with you on day 6.
I did do that because the sex was awesome, but I didn't tell you I loved you until like day 16 or 17. You were on the phone in Montana and I said it back to you. And then we stayed on the phone all night and fell asleep on the phone together. Don't fucking tell me, woman. I know. I remember these things. I'm just as emotional as you. Well, not emotional. Not emotional, but I care about things. But that's what happened. It was on the phone, and I'm like, I love you. And then you decided to go to Skeeter's house and spend the night, and I was going to trust you after my other girlfriend slept with 2 black guys.
What are you talking about?
You went to Skeeter's or Junior's
Skeeter.
house and stayed the night because of a blizzard. And you're like, there's a blizzard, and I got to stay the night at my ex-boyfriend's friend's house. And I'm like, what the hell? This isn't cool.
Ugh.
What was his name?
Boomer.
I
didn't realize we were going to get into the relationship
Boomer.
chat.
Eufus, come here. Come here, Eufus.
We'll have to hold a whole show on how we got together because it's an interesting one.
All right, so now that we've done that, comes down to this: Donald Trump is not going to prison for cloaking a payoff. When Bill Clinton did it, Hillary Clinton did it, Obama got penalized for his campaign issues, and none of them spent the day in jail. This is all optics, so everyone just relax.
It's a smokescreen to keep it off Biden and what's going on there.
Well, here's the other thing. Biden's accuser is now openly saying that she will testify openly in court that Biden sexually assaulted her.
I didn't know that was a thing right now.
Oh, yeah, he has it too. But of course,
are you talking about Joe or Hunter?
I'm talking about Joe. Oh, Hunter's got a litany. I mean,
I had no
those
idea.
women are still coming off their crack hits he gave them 3 years ago.
I just thought it was about the whole money from China thing.
Joe Biden has his own accusers. He's been accused of sexual. Everyone, if you're in politics, you've been accused for sexual assault. Hell, I could literally come out of the womb, and if I had an R on my chest, they'd be like, "Excuse me, son, come here. Don't give me that baby crying shit. You've committed sexual assault, Republican." You touched that vagina on the way out. I know you did, son. Don't deny it. So it seems like everyone gets, I mean, just look at, if you look all the way from Reagan, every single political candidate has either been accused of sexual assault or a racist on the Republican side. Everybody, Dole. They did it to Romney. They did it to McCain. They did it to both Bushes. They did it to Reagan. They did it to Trump. It's insane. They said Romney was a sexist because he had a binder full of women. Don't you remember? He was up there and he's like, they're like, what are you going to do about a predominantly male staffer situation, a Supreme Court that's predominantly male? Most women in cabinets are male. And he's like, I have a binder full of women who are qualified to take those positions, saying that I've done the work. And I don't like Romney. He's a shill douchebag, but he said it and he wasn't being sexist. Now, I mean, KJP stands up there, the press secretary, and she's known as Binder. That's her. I mean, Peppermint Patty was Jen Psaki, but KJP, it's Binder because she always has a binder. And nobody says that's sexist. He kept notes in a binder. What do you want? They also nailed him on.
Could have been a journal like Kavanaugh.
Me and Squee, me and Boomer had beers and we lifted weights. I mean, Kavanaugh, I would be more worried that he was batting for the other team in some of those entries. Boomer and I baby oiled each other's bodies and we lifted weights and we pounded brewskis. I'm like, that sounds like code for butt sex to me. Kavanaugh, I like Kavanaugh. I'm just teasing. No offense, sir. Admire the guy. But anyway, the binder is, they also hit Romney on this is the Russia thing. They asked him who is our biggest concern geopolitically. And he's like, Russia. And then you remember Obama comes out of the debate and he goes, 1985 called and they want their foreign policy back. Oh, now look, they did the reset button with Hillary with Russia. Look where we are now with Russia. Do you think Obama is biting his tongue a little bit? Remember, he said that you couldn't bring jobs back to the United States. Donald Trump did. Everything Obama said that he couldn't do because of XYZ, Donald Trump did.
Do you want to tell the story or are you going to let me finish?
I'm not going to let you finish. You've had enough time to talk. It's my show. Trump's not going to prison. And they make the comment that you can indict a ham sandwich. This is true. It's just like impeachment. Impeachment means nothing. Articles of impeachment they're like, it's an accusation to collect evidence to see if there is enough to proceed with criminal proceedings. That's it. There were no criminal proceedings. The impeachment is nothing. And the Democrats hang this above Trump, said, oh, he's been impeached twice. Who cares? That's like saying he got a double vasectomy. Who cares? If it didn't work the first time, get it the second. Who cares? It's an impeachment. You can literally impeach somebody for anything. It's just making an accusation. That's all it is. And an indictment is the same thing. Grand jury listens. They listen to the evidence, hopefully exculpatory evidence. No counter defense is put into it. It's only the evidence from a prosecutorial standpoint. And then they make a decision to proceed or not if they have enough. That's it. That's all it is. And then you would go through the charges. And the prosecutor, the DA, attorney general, whatever level you're gonna have the prosecution take that case, is going to apply charges to you. And you're going to have an arraignment. You're going to hear the charges in a courtroom with a judge. There'll be a judge assigned, a date assigned. And then the overall discovery period will take place. You'll build a defense. Prosecution will build a prosecutorial pathway into conviction. Prosecution will declare what they're going for a penalty. You get to hear and make a statement of your guilt or innocence. And you'll go through the entire process. Jail is off the table. This whole thing is smokescreen. It's just bullshit. It's noise. How do I know? Because Republicans do it too. We did it with Hillary Clinton. We knew we weren't going to convict Hillary Clinton over Benghazi. There's not a chance. I think Republicans and most citizens thought that Hillary Clinton was going to go down for the email scandal. What did you think, Liv?
I for sure thought she was, but I mean, that was hopeful. I wanted her to.
Well, that was some weird shit.
Completely. Hillary Clinton, I mean, and I thought she was going to go down until Jim Comey opened his mouth, It's like, here's a litany, 13 minutes of just absolute, just destroying her. And then, whoops, hold on now. She didn't mean to. All right, so here's the other thing that we're going to look at tonight. And a lot of people don't know anything about this. And, this is important. And it's important for a few reasons. The main reason is that you need to know what is being proposed by the 117th Congress in S.3218. This is for you too, Olivia. You're going to be interested in this.
Okay.
So this is the Parents' Rights Bill. Not that parents need more rights. It's that the rights of the parents are limited because of the actions of liberals. And it falls into the line of saying that parents are domestic terrorists, and the FBI was labeling parents in Virginia, in Texas, when books needed to be banned, when we had the case in Fairfax with the rape of a girl in a bathroom from a supposed transgender boy who did it twice, and the dad got pissed and they called him a liar and everything else. Well, that entire school board, most of it has been gutted like a fish. Thank God.
Good.
But parents' rights. Now, the Democrat talking points are this: that Republicans are banning books by the droves. So somebody tell me, who banned To Kill a Mockingbird in California? Does anyone know which party it was?
I'm going to guess the Democrats.
Yep, one does. But see, it's not banned. You can go to any bookstore, any public library,
to just get banned from school libraries?
Thank you. Yes, public school libraries, they weren't necessarily banned. Some of the schools made sure that you had to be 18 years old to check them out. And other ones removed them from the schools. Now they're saying they're LGBTQ books. Listen, can we just be honest? It's all about gay sex and lesbian sex and pedophilia. Okay? Can we stop bullshitting? There's some that are illustrations and showing gardeners having sex with little boys. There's graphic and detailed readings on these things at public school boards. I got to hear some of them myself in the state of Virginia, in the LCPS school boards. They're not banning stuff that says Tim's gay and John's gay, therefore they're gay and happy for the rest of their life. That's not happening. They are taking specific books that are 1619 related, that are absolutely historically fucking inaccurate, or have semblances of truth, but are completely spun from a perspective. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that white history is not interlaced throughout our teachings from anywhere from K through 12 and college, because they are, and it needs to be revised. And Black history, Latin history, the Irish, the Chinese, there is so much influence in our culture. And even the French that we don't talk about because we always make fun of the French. There is so many things that need to be brought into American history from a multicultural perspective. That has to happen. But what you don't get to do is say that African Americans discovered America. You just don't get to say that. You don't get to say that at all. And you can go ahead and say that African Americans built a lot of the United States. Yes, that's true. So did a lot of white people. So did a lot of Irishmen. So did a lot of Chinese. What you don't get to do is write revisionist history and pretend that we're going to accept it. Because the Democrats already tried this to do after the Civil War with the Ku Klux Klan, the Daughters of the Confederacy. This is the shit that they do. This is what Democrats do. They rewrite history. This is what the big party switch. Now it's not the party switch. It's the party matriculation over 40 years, which you're basically saying is the South was very, very slow behind the times because generationally, the North was far ahead of the South from a inclusion, if you want to call it that, or acceptance of different cultures and realizing that African Americans and other minority people would have to be treated the same as white people in order for the country to grow and succeed. Just basic because of the 4 million African American slaves that were in the South. Hence where 2/3 compromise came from, or the 3/5 compromise came from, which doesn't base that a person is black, therefore they have less of a vote. That is not what it is. It is not a racist policy. Anybody back at the time, it doesn't sound very good, but what it was the South literally was going to leap over the North as far as a population standpoint, and in a representative democracy based on population, which is what it was. The South would have a massive vote over the North, and the North would be right back at civil war with the South because they would vote to put back and repeal certain amendments that gave life, liberty, and protection to all people, including the 14th Amendment. So they said, because we're bringing you in and we are going to emancipate and also create citizens who had no rights and give them rights and give them equal embodiment and representation in our government, we have to have their vote be 3/5 of a vote. Now, does that sound fair? No, it doesn't. And I can understand why African Americans are like, wait a second, that didn't sound fucking good to me. But slavery was a lot worse. So can we put it in perspective? I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to go ahead and try to tell you that African Americans were treated well, because that's not true. That's a blatant lie. And the United States has a lot to atone for, but it's not through reparations. It's ensuring that we never go back to that place again. And that is what the 3/5 compromise was designed to do. Now, you can sit here and argue with me all day long, but I really don't give a shit. Because it is completely antithetical to say we're against slavery. We're going to go ahead and emancipate 4 million African Americans, and then now we're going to go ahead and limit them even more. It just doesn't make any sense. We're going to give them the illusion of freedom and then take it away, because that's not what happened. Every single person got to vote. The problem is the sheer number of what they were doing in the South would have pigeonholed the North, and we would be right back where we were years later. All right. S3218. This is specifically to amend element.
Sounds like a stormtrooper number.
It is. It's S3218. You're a little short for a stormtrooper. You're a little short for a bill. To amend the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 to provide for a Parent's Bill of Rights. Senate of the United States, November 17th, 2021. This essentially is what the bill is. This was written a while ago. Be enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives, blah, 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 blah. This is to be labeled the Parent's Bill of Rights. In general, subpart 2 of part F of Title 8 of Elementary Second Education Act of 1965, 20 U.S.C. 7901, etc., is amended by adding at the end of the following. In general, no state, its agents, its subdivisions, or the agents of its subdivisions shall deny to the parent or guardian of a minor child any or all of the following rights. Number 1, the right to fully review in physical or digital optical character recognition format and make copies of the curricula, books, and any other educational materials used by the school attended by their minor child or local educational agency that serves such a school. This right shall be understood too. This right is already available in pretty much every single state. You can petition your school board and get the curricula for all their classes top to bottom, period. Include a right to affirmative disclosure of class syllabi and reading list to the parent or guardian of a minor child by the school attended by their minor child or local educational agency that serves such a school. So a syllabus, you have a right to get the syllabus. You following so far, Liv?
Yes.
Prohibit a requirement that an individual sign a non-disclosure agreement as a condition to viewing or otherwise accessing curriculum materials. You understand what that means?
No.
That if you get the curricula, you can't talk about it with anybody. You can't call the press. You can't post it to Facebook. You have to sign an agreement that you have to sign an NDA up to including penalty and fines if you release this information to the public, and you have to sign an NDA. They're saying you can no longer do that.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, no, what they're saying is you can't require a parent to do that, but there's schools that are doing that.
Got it.
They're saying, we'll give you the curriculum, but you have to sign an NDA. And they're saying, kiss my ass, you can't do that. Okay? The right to access information on the teachers, guests, lecturers, and outside presenters who engage with students at the school attended by their minor child. This right shall be understood to prohibit schools from permitting or requiring the attendance of minor children at school assemblies, field trips, and other extracurricular activities, absent affirmative consent from the parent or guardian. Do you understand what that means?
No.
Okay.
You're going to have to explain it in layman's terms.
Because I'm going to. That's why I'm asking you, because I want to make sure. Because if you understand, everyone understands, I would hope. If you don't, nobody does. No. Because I'm taking it based upon general knowledge and understanding. Some of this stuff is very complicated. So in layman's terms, if you're like, I don't need layman's terms, I get it. I'm very confident that most people would get it. If you don't get it, then probably most people don't get it too. That's a safe assumption. You're all stupid, okay? So is my wife. You're all dumb. I hate you all. Okay. That's not what I said. Stop looking at me. I'm feeling like I'm being judged. I feel like I have eyes on. I do.
You can turn off the fan to make it up to me.
Your Honor, I want it. Yeah, but you're wearing a flimsy shirt. It's kind of nice, to be honest with you. That's sexual harassment, folks. Okay. What that's basically saying is Pedo Pete, Pedo Joe is going to come and talk at the school and explain about his time in prison where he was anally raped incessantly for being a pedophile, and talk about his personal growth and his own self-mutilation and castration in order to become a gelding unicorn who was rainbow spotted and wants to talk to children about this. You have a right to know who that person is and find out all that information before your child takes part in that curricula. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, the right to visit their minor child at school during school hours.
That's never an issue here.
Right. But this is some places they're barring that. The right to access all records generated by the school attended by their minor child or the local educational agency that serves such school that concerns their minor child. So if it has to do with their kid, they can request access to those records. Okay?
Yes.
The right to access information pertaining to the collection and transmission of data regarding their minor child by the school attended by their minor child or the local educational agency that serves such school. This right shall be understood to include a right to access information on any outside entity, including an accreditor, marketing consultancy, or third-party clearinghouse, to which student data, whether anonymized or not, which is to make anonymous or privacy, prohibit the collection by the school attended by their minor child or the local education agency. Okay. Require that schools and educational agencies serving the schools make a process by which the parent guardian minor child and blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's basically saying if you use any information and share it with a third party, collect a photograph, a recording, a likeness, a writing, anything that has to do with your child, that you have to give them approval. Them posting it on Facebook, them using it in a magazine, anything, an ad or commercial, all of it, that if you're going to use it through the school system or the unions, that you have to get written permission from the parent before you can use your child's likeness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. The right to be heard at school. Meetings or other governance hearings pertaining to the school attended by their minor child or the local educational agency that serves such school. This right shall be understood to require that school board meetings or other governance hearings pertaining to curricula safety and other student issues be conducted publicly and allow for public comments. So you can no longer silence people. You can set time frames or how long they can speak or if they can have slideshows and do puppets and shit. But what you can't do is tell parents, you're disagreeing with this, now it's closed and we're shutting down like they did in Virginia.
Like they've done so many times
in
at
Virginia.
LCPS.
Yep, and just shut down the ability to talk. The right to be notified of situations affecting the safety of their minor child at school. This right shall be understood to require, but is not limited to requiring, the schools notify parents and the guardians in a timely manner of any or all following incidents: physical assaults occurring in and around the school, sexual assaults, appearance of weapons in and around the school, drug use or possession, police investigations in and around the school, crimes including misdemeanors committed by teachers or other school or local educational agency employees, whether such offenses were committed on or off the campus of a school, enforcement, civil action. Any person who has denied one or more of the rights identified in the subsection may bring a civil action in any court of competent jurisdiction for injunctive relief. You know what that means?
No.
You are able to petition and file suit against the school to have an adjudicator come in, or an order, which is injunctive, which is a written order for the school to cease and desist or to follow in compliance with what you're looking for. Essentially, you get a letter, a get out of jail free card that says you have to stop this because you are taking away the parents' rights, and immediately you need to cease and desist and give them the information they're looking for.
Got it.
From an adjunct or an injunct, in the sense of a written order or a physical order, like a police officer coming in, escorting you in and saying, Mrs. Spears is going to go get her child because of A, B, C, and D of the parental rights that you've revoked, and we are taking this child out of school. You need to cease and desist and allow us to go get the kid. Or this is a writ to appear or a cease and desist order by the state, by the local city, municipality, or you're being sued. Here's a subpoena to appear with these parties to come and answer for your school's behavior, that type of stuff.
Got it.
State enforcement. In any case in which the Attorney General or the state has a reason to believe that an interest of the residents, that the state has been or is threatened or adversely affected by the engagement of an entity in an active practice denying one or more of the rights identified in the subsection, the state has parents patria, may bring us parents patria. It's been so long since law. I did this and I looked this up before. Hold on. Damn it. I knew it.
What is
Parens patria. Parens patria is the state in its capacity, the legal guardian of persons not and without natural guardians as heir to a person's natural heirs and as the protection of all citizens unable to protect themselves. So there's mens rea and parens patria, which may bring civil action on behalf of the residents of the state in a district court. So it doesn't have to be specifically parents. It could be a legal guardian. It could be a foster. It could be a grandmother or grandfather. It's saying anybody who has the legal guardianship of child has rights as well and can bring a petition based upon that parental right because they're non-existent or in the picture. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Withholding of funds for persistent violations. In general, if a state is not in compliance as described in some paragraph, for a fiscal year, the secretary shall withhold from the state 50% of the total amount required to the appointed state or any subdivision of the state under this act on the first day of the following fiscal year. So what it's saying is essentially you lose your budget for the next year for what you do in the previous year. So it's a meritocracy. If you follow the rules and you take care of those parents, you will have your full access to your budget. If you don't, you're going to be slapped. 50% of your budget's going to be gone. Non-compliance. A state shall be deemed non-compliant for a fiscal year for purpose of this paragraph if within a 5-year period before the date of determination there was not less than 3 final judgments that were not reversed on appeal in separate suits for injunctive relief filed pursuant to paragraph 1 or 2, or both in which the plaintiffs prevailed against the state, its agents, its subdivisions, or the agents of its subdivisions in which the court granted injunctive relief. What does that mean? F around and find out. If you show a pattern of behavior within this period of time that goes against what was just read to you in paragraph 1 and 2, and you did not have a decision that was overturned or defunct or expunged or in your favor, you will be held accountable, is what it's saying.
Got it.
The table of contents in Section 2 of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 is amended by inserting the item relating to Section 8549C following Parent Bill of Rights. Now, what that's saying is where it should place the overall Bill of Rights amendment to the overall order from 1965. So this isn't rewriting. There already are a list of parental rights. It's expanding them. And it's saying this is an expanded effort to ensure with the times of today and the things that are happening that parents are still considered to have not just the rights that have been there since 1965, but expanded rights based upon the actions of the schools. So I want to sum this up pretty quick.
It's kind of sad that this had to be written, that some schools were not letting parents
It's
know.
not some, it's a lot.
Yeah.
The progressive socialist mentality left Hollywood. I've said this many times when it came to Montgomery Clift and John Wayne, who are all a part of going against the Screenwriters Guild and the unions. And there was a communist element from the oligarchs in Russia that started investing into Hollywood and films, knowing that they couldn't necessarily get our media, they couldn't get our schools and education. So the next part is to, infiltrate entertainment and things to that effect. You saw a large amount of Russian influence coming in. And this is why Reagan was really the choice for president when he ran. Not the first choice in 76, but 80 was. He almost split the RNC in 76 and challenged, this is a whole other conversation, but was seen as a person who would be tough on communism in 80 because of what he did as governor in California and with the Screenwriters Guild and going against the unions. When they cast out a lot of the progressivism and socialist viewpoints in Hollywood, a lot of these people went to colleges or left colleges and used their experience in the medias to get into liberal arts degrees and become teachers and professors at high institutions and colleges, friends in high places. It essentially took over the college campuses mentality. And what you saw was the educational system in the United States and these high-end colleges transform their curricula from the normal teachings that had been here since, 17 whatever, to a more progressive and anti-government. A lot of these people were hippies. A lot of these people were anti-Vietnam. And you saw the progressive change in the education system in colleges. Well, this is now matriculating into society. And what you're seeing is when people come out and they are actors who went to school and liberal arts degrees, psychologists, psychiatrists, media people who go and, major in journalism, are coming out extremely liberal, extremely progressive, which ultimately has changed our entire media. The people who buy that are progressives and socialists. And this is where the media's changed. And now it's impacting our elementary schools. And this is where you're seeing parents and politicians say, enough, stop. You're not going to indoctrinate our kids. But that's really, the window for Democrats to truly turn a child into a Democrat is at a young age. Mm-hmm. And they now know that they have to get them at a young age, 6 years old and up, and start the indoctrination process. Because if you look at voters and the voter base, Democrats are usually the ages of like 18 to about 32. That's the average. Well, Republicans are 33 to like 95. That's why there's not most people who are Democrat early in life do transition into more of a centrist, libertarian, or Republican viewpoint, because once they become homeowners, business owners, they have some stake in the game, they have kids, they don't want to give up their shit for free anymore. So they become the party that is more of the conservative ship that I talked about, which is conservation, not big government in your life, not a overtaxation, and want to limit the amount of the governments in your life. So the Democrats have a very small window to recruit new people. This is why they want to allow felons to vote. This is why they want to bring in illegals. And this is why they want to lower the voting age to 16. This is why they want to make Puerto Rico a state, Washington, D.C. a state. These are the reasons why, because they understand that that Republicans are closing the gap in a lot of ways. And the Electoral College is always going to be favored to the Democrats because of California and New York. But the regular races, which are runoff popularity, the Democrats, even though they hold a majority of people who are Democrat, they're finding these races that were predominantly blue are getting challenges, and they're no longer able to win these races because there's so many toss-ups and so many upsets, and it's just the ebbs and flows of politics. Where the presidential race, it's always going to be leaning in favor of Democrats. They want to ban the Electoral College because they truly believe that that is the only way Republicans can win. But what it truly does is marginalize the states that they can never win. You're looking at over 60, 70% of the U.S. votes Republican from a square mile standpoint. And you look at the population, Democrats do have a ton of influence on the coasts. But it really comes down to 2 or 3 states decide the presidential election every single year. And the only reason that is because of the Electoral College, that it gives the same voice proportionately based on population and electoral votes, that Wyoming's 1 is just as powerful as California's 57. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So Democrats want to pull that away, and that's how they're going to do it. That's the bill. Now, here's the good news. It's a great bill. They're saying that it's going to ban books, that it's going to punish this is bullshit. Complete lies. I just read it to you. There's nothing here. All it does is put the power back into parents' hands, and it holds teachers accountable to what they say and what they do. So let me ask you a question. You wanted to be a teacher.
Yes.
Teachers were heralded like the police force and military. They were one of the most idolized professions in the country. Everybody was like, oh, the teachers. I love the teachers. What changed?
I don't know. I mean, I wanted to be a teacher because I loved being around kids, and that's what I wanted to do. But after I dropped out of college and never went back, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I didn't really think about it until we had kids in school, and then my perspective has changed from being the teacher to being the parent.
Yeah. One of the things that I believe wholeheartedly is that the biggest difference is the politicization of the unions.
Yeah.
You know, they just had one of the union representatives in California. All the teachers, 30,000 some odd employees are on strike right now, and kids are not in school. And the superintendent was at a Clippers game, and she was in the suite. Well, those suites are $5,000 a seat. I know because you and I have been in a ton of suites in our lives from corporate America. I mean, just the one we went to, the suite we went to for the Astros, those were, I mean, the Washington Nationals game, those seats were $5,000 a piece behind home plate. So to see a teacher in that, it's ridiculous. I think teachers, in my opinion, they're hardworking. I respect that. I have no problem with that. But I believe that they have the most days off out of any profession, major profession. They are relatively well compensated based upon the time that they work. And if you ask most teachers, their official hours that they say they work are from like 8 o'clock till 3 in the afternoon. But what you hear every teacher say is, oh, well, I grade papers until, well, that's your choice. If you can't get your job done in the parameters of what you're supposed to do, and if it's not possible, that's what we all face. I face that as a vice president, as an executive, as a part-time employee. If you can't do your job in the time frame, well, then maybe you're not very good at your job. I understand we put a lot of pressure on teachers, but that empathy that we had for them, in my opinion, is over because of the way the unions treat them.
The constant bitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald says, Matt, what changed for the teachers was the fact that they took the power from the parents. This took the power from the teachers. Teachers went woke. The teachers started getting paid better, which attracts people that aren't in the field of money and not for the kids. Well, also, unchallenged tenure.
I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking about that.
Push your button.
Yeah, I was just going for it. Is the teachers who, after they hit so many years, basically are untouchable. They can do anything they want and whatever they want, and
minus beat the shit out of a kid or have sex with a kid.
But they can't be touched, and I think that's ridiculous. I think teachers need to be evaluated every year, and I don't care if you've only been there 1 year or if you've been there 30. If you're doing a shit job teaching the kids, you need to be put on notice or you need to get fired. I mean, I could care less as long as
couldn't care less,
excuse me.
It's okay.
As long who teaches our kids, as long as they're decent teachers. And I have seen teachers that have been there a very, very long time that I didn't like. And I've seen teachers that it was their first year that I didn't like, but I've also seen teachers that it was their first year and I liked, and vice versa. So, you know, a lot has to do with the actual person, you know, and how they view it. Is it a job? Is it something that they were forced into doing, or they just want the money and they don't really like it? Or do they actually really, really love their job? And you can tell that the teachers who really, really love their job and love the kids and are there for the kids and to shape their futures. And then you can tell the teachers who are only there for a paycheck and they only want to be there for the kids, teach from the time school opens to the time it closes, and then they check out.
They got $160 billion in COVID relief. This solidarity thing, it's not that I'm against it. There's bus drivers and the cooks and the crossing guards. These are the people who are striking, and the teachers are simply standing with them. I don't have a problem with that. But at some point, teachers have to put the kids first. You've got to put the kids first. When is that going to happen? You just didn't do it for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, because our kids are already behind because of COVID. I mean, enough's enough. Quit your bitching. Get in there and teach.
Yeah. I'm the same way. This is the lady, the Clippers recognized her. It basically says the union chiefs holding education of 500,000 California school kids to ransom. One went straight to NBA game suite after strike announcement and is BLM member, while others supports defund the police and vowed no peace until demands are met. This is the bullshit. Is that teachers used to focus on teaching kids how to learn. And now it's a focus on teaching kids what to learn, what to say, what not to say. The fact that my daughter knows what non-binary is, that knows what a pansexual is.
I didn't even know what that was.
Fucking dude, what the hell? You know, I had to learn that from a Penthouse magazine when I was 12. I didn't learn it from my teacher. There is no way if an adult came up and talked to me, you know what I would have done? Stranger danger, and I would have gotten my mom and dad and called McGruff.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I would have done. And it's just insane. It's insanity when you think about it. It's just not the way it used to be. It's crazy. One other thing. This is the reaction from AOC, and we can always expect an overdramatic reaction. Like I was dodging sniper fire at January 6th. You know that I was scared, so scared.
Oh, I don't have an AOC soundbite.
No, we'll get you one. Here it is.
They are asking the Republican Party to keep culture wars out of classrooms. Our children need urgent and aggressive educational solutions. The American Library Association coming out against this Republican proposal. When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism. Thank you very
Gentleman's
much.
time has expired. The gentleman from...
Freedom over fascism.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. So this is basically, so let's walk through the list. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's walk through some fascist ideas in America today. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. You tell me fascism or freedom.
Okay.
Okay. According to AOC, not
what the actual definition is,
Right.
or according to what AOC.
according to what
thinks
AOC
it- okay.
says. Right.
Got it. This will be a
Who
fun
supports
game.
Antifa and
And I don't know if this was a rumor. Did she even know what the Holocaust was, or is that like a
that's
rumor?
a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother conversation. So here it is. Fascist versus freedom.
Okay.
Massage envy in massage places, being able to massage children under the age of 16. Is that fascism, or is that supposed to be a freedom?
According to AOC,
According to
that
AOC.
should be a freedom, I would think.
It's fascism. It's fascism to say that a child should not be touched by adult and massaged in erogenous areas.
Okay, got it.
That would be fascist, right? Because what she's saying is restricting freedom in any way, shape, or form is fascism. That's what she just said.
Yeah.
Do you want me to play it back? Yeah, let me play it back. Listen.
Virginia.
Here we go.
Progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism. Thank you very much.
So she just said it. Anything that is a freedom that's restricted is fascism. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So now she said that. So massaging a child at Massage Envy is illegal. My wife went in for a massage. We tried to have Hayden go in, and they said we can't do that to a child under 16, even with parents' permission, because it's inappropriate. We're like, oh, we didn't know that, and we didn't even think about it. Thank you for educating us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We thought maybe she would get a foot massage, a hand massage, maybe a shoulder rub, whatever. She doesn't go under the towel or anything, you know, something, a machine where she could put her feet on it, whatever. Nope, none of that. Kids can't be involved. Okay. Smoking cigarettes for anyone under 18. So Ethan comes home with a pack of Marlboro Reds, you know, and he lights up some red apples. Freedom or fascism?
According to AOC, I think that would be a freedom.
No, it's fascism. Because limiting children from smoking, because it's a freedom, is fascist.
I think I'm not understanding the game.
It's simple. If you limit children smoking, is that fascism or freedom? It's fascism.
Yes.
Okay. So it's limiting freedom. So it's fascism. Okay. Do you understand? Great. Child pornography. Going ahead and taking nude photos of children and reproducing it and having strange, horribly disgusting human beings download it. Is that a freedom that everyone should have? Or should it be restrictive, so therefore it'd be fascism, according to AOC?
Fascism.
That's it. It's fascism.
Okay.
She thinks that any restrictive on freedom is fascism. Taking pictures of naked children is a freedom. What about looking at porn? What about, can I get Ethan a subscription to Pornhub? Would that be a freedom? Or if I decide as a parent to limit that, is that fascism?
That would be fascism.
It's fascism.
Yep.
Most assuredly, according to AOC, it's fascism.
Yep.
What about letting kids drive? Should we go over to Ethan and give him your truck and let him drive? I mean, it's a freedom for him to drive. Should he drive, or should we just let him not drive and be fascist parents? Fascist or a freedom?
I think we'll be fascist parents.
Fascist parents. Of course we're fascist parents. We're fascists if we don't want our children driving at 9 years old. Come on, it's fascism. So how about this? Here's a real easy one. How about voting? Should Hayden vote? Because we know she would vote for Jojo Siwa. Should she be able to vote for president and all elected officials? Is it freedom or fascism?
Fascism.
There he is. Great. How about this? Here's another one. And then I've got a trick question. Buying a firearm and having guns and bringing them to school, or just buying a gun, freedom or fascism?
Fascism.
Correct. So all of those had what in common?
It included minor children.
And limiting what those children are allowed to disseminate and process or take part in based upon our laws from a lawful sense and a natural sense and a God-given sense. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here's the last one for you.
Okay.
Cutting off your penis, cutting off your boobs, sewing up your vagina, and putting anal skin to replicate a penis, freedom or fascism?
Fascism.
Nope, it's a freedom. Every child should be able to do that. Every child should be able to make that decision, according to AOC, because children can decide if they are male or female. They can establish their sex. That's what they're saying. They can establish anything they want at that age, because that's what they're telling them at school. That if you want to be, if you dress up in a dress and you tell that child, wait a second, that's fine for Halloween, but it's not okay every day, then you are suppressing that child's natural choice to be a man or woman. Gender, it's not gender mutilation. What about taking a drug to essentially desexualize a child and their ability to reproduce and chemically castrate them? Is that freedom or fascism?
According to AOC.
According to AOC.
That's a freedom.
It's a freedom. According to all liberals, it's a freedom. All children. So let me get this straight. Children can't look at porn. Well, they can, because that's what's in the library books.
Yeah.
So they can look at porn. But I would think that some liberals have some limitations on what they say. So can they smoke weed? I don't know. Let's find out. Like, let's see where we are in the next 20 years, what they start allowing. Because honestly, they almost sound like libertarians in a lot of ways, that everything should be legal and let human beings figure it out. I disagree. Children, we hold back on the things that they can consume internally or mentally, existentially, physically, because we know what's best for our kids.
It's hard enough growing up and going through puberty and being a kid without dealing with all of that shit as well. I mean, just listening to the stories Satan tells me when she comes home from school every day.
Yeah.
It's like reliving my own middle school days. It's awful. Listen,
I drove golf carts at 10 years old up and down, and would take those things and get them up to 30 miles an hour going down dirt hills. Sure, I drove on the back roads. I drove in parking lots when it snowed, of course. But the difference is you're not letting a 10-year-old get on the highway and taking out people left and right and running over people in crosswalks like it's fucking Grand Theft Auto. My point is there needs to be limitations. The liberals believe that there are no limitations. And not only that, here's the funny thing. They're talking about the rights of children to be who they want. What about their rights when they're in the womb?
Exactly.
You don't give a shit. I mean, some of them don't even care up until the out of the womb and the umbilical cord is cut that they can make a decision to terminate the baby. Explain to me, if you care so much about children, then why in the fuck aren't you protecting them? Oh, because it's the women's rights. Yeah, exactly. The woman inside the body too, not just out. There's another life involved here.
Yep. I'm very curious to see where the schools are going to be for our grandchildren.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be very interesting.
I at this point, I think I'm willing to go with the kids and say, I'll teach them. I don't know, but I don't know. But it comes down.
We'll homeschool. We'll be retired.
It just comes down to this. The hypocrisy from the left is ridiculous. And it's ever present, and it continues to grow. And we've just pointed out some of it for tonight. And I'm not saying it's not on the rights too. The right does the same thing. But there's only one party that wants to sexually castrate children. There's only one that takes them to drag shows where people's asses are hanging out and they're 300 fucking pounds. Everyone keeps making comparison. Well, Peter Pan on Broadway was a female. That's transgender. Okay.
No, that's an act. That's acting because you're limited to people. In Hayden's school play, Trunchbull, who's the head mistress, is played by a guy. Why? Because there was no one else who could play the person. Not one female that tried out for the part could have made that part.
And that's the problem, is that the Democrats believe, and this is the difference, and then we're done tonight, between democracy and a republic. A democracy is for the collective. It's not about the individual. This is collective policy that's supposed to be a one-size-fits-all, and kids are all different. Would you allow a child with Down syndrome to have his penis lopped off and to get a vagina?
No.
I wouldn't let the smartest kid in the world do it, but I wouldn't let the best looking kid, the ugliest kid, the tall kid, the short kid, because there are times where people might have a learning disability, or they might be mentally not acute enough at that age to make these decisions. But these cookie cutter approaches are ridiculous. You have to make it about the individual. And individual rights are just as important as the collective rights. And that's the problem here.
And kids don't know what they want. I mean, they change their mind so much. I don't know how many times Hayden has changed her mind on something. She likes country. Nope, she likes hip hop. Nope, she likes country. Nope, she likes rock and roll. Oh, her favorite color is orange. Her favorite color is pink. Her favorite color is purple. Her favorite color is blue. Nope, now it's pink again. Now it's rose gold. And this is all within a span of like 3 weeks. They don't know what they want. They don't have a clue. And for them to make a life-changing decision, it's ridiculous.
Oh, and a permanent decision, right? A permanent decision. Here's the thing that people don't want to say. People who transition are not happier. They just had a lady who committed suicide who transitioned that was on the cover of, I don't remember, some job recognized her. I think it was an airlines. And she was like the spokesperson, and they said transgender airline flight attendant, and she committed suicide. So she was recognized by her work. She was accepted. She was appreciated. She was rewarded. She still committed suicide.
And it's going to get worse. The amount of suicides is going to go up because they're pushing these kids to do it younger and younger,
right,
and make this decision when a lot of them shouldn't have made that decision. Well, all of them shouldn't have made that decision that young, but a lot of them, the decision's going to be wrong, but the changes can't be unmade.
Yeah.
You can't put your penis back on. You can't.
Well, unless you're John Wayne Bobbitt.
But I mean, the damage is done.
Yeah.
And they're too young. They don't know what they want. I mean, my God, most seniors don't even know what they want to major in college.
Right.
I mean,
but that's the whole point, right? So you can decide to alter and sexually transition at 6 years old, but you can't make a decision to join the military, smoke, drink, vote, or buy a gun until 16, 18, or 21. How does that make any sense?
We asked Ethan what he wants to be when he grows up, when he was 6. He wanted to be Spider-Man. I mean, seriously, If he wants to be Spider-Man when he grows up at 6,
notice how he didn't
decide?
say Spider-Woman.
I read an article one time, and there was a lady who was maybe our age, I don't know, 30s or something, but she was saying how she's so happy that her parents, she was a total tomboy, kept her hair short, played with the boys, wanted to play all the rough sports, hated anything that had to do with girls, never played with dolls, played with cars. And her parents didn't push her to become a man. And now she's married, has a husband, has beautiful children. And she says, I'm so happy that no one pushed me to become a man.
Right.
So,
And one of the things like that Colleen just said, which is a really good point, says down kids if given facial surgery young enough, say 24, are treated different and are very normal. Here's the thing. I've never met a down kid who wasn't absolutely fantastic.
They're all happy.
I don't focus on any of that. I don't care, right? Now, autism is a little bit different, and understand I know my limitations as a human being, and I just had some bad experience when I was younger, but I certainly don't, look down on people. That's hard for me, right? And it's hard for everybody. I just know what I'm capable of and what I'm not. And everyone's like, it's different when it's your kid. No, it's not. So, not for me. I know my limitations. But the difference between having sexual transformation and transformative surgery at that age is that is not only permanent, but it's a decision that could fluctuate and change hundreds of times over. And once you do it, it can't be undone. Having reconstructive surgery for a person with Down syndrome, if that's what they want to do with parents' permission and the child's permission, that is much different than having your penis or your boobs cut off. That would be like allowing someone to have their nose cut off and have a septum implant put in place that's plastic, like some people have, or the person who wanted to become a lizard, or getting a Prince Albert. There's certain things that aren't necessary, and getting tattoos or getting your penis lopped off is not medically necessary. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up the tattoos. You have to be 18 to get a tattoo. Why? Because it's life altering, because it's permanent. It can't be undone. Well, now it can't, but it's permanent. That's why you can't have it until you're 18. So why are they allowing sex changes to happen when you're young? They need to wait until they're 18. And honestly, they need to wait till they're older, because even then they get out of the house at 18 are freaking stupid.
Yeah. Well, it comes down. Here's the thing. Every time Democrats want to debate this, you know what I tell them? It's simple. It's none of your fucking business. Like, I'm not even going to debate this topic with you. What if your child, fuck you. Fuck you. One of my best friends that I grew up with, that was one of my top 3, where I would cut off a finger rather than lose this person. Okay. Her name was Holly, and she was, and still is, intelligent, so smart, and was a crush of mine, but is just a fierce, great friend of mine, and such a liberal. Oh my God, total hippie, like peace, love, dope, stick the flower in the barrel of the gun type person, that type, just annoying. Ugh, annoying. But I loved her. And when we had Hayden, she basically said on a thread, when we were talking about Hayden and her independence and being parents and help guiding her, and she started lecturing us and saying, she's not yours. She's the world's. That's not your child. She is, owned by everyone else because she's going to influence other people. And that's who she should be concerned with. And I'm like, what? I said, I've got another $700,000 to pay for her. Thank you very much, before she's paid off. I completely disagree. She's my child, and she'll always be my child. And she says, yes, but she's your gift to the world. And I said, no, she's my pain in the ass to take care of for 18 years and beyond, not yours. So shut the fuck up. This is none of your business, and you're completely wrong.
Yeah, she also was the one that we announced it was a girl. She was the one who came on. Are you sure? Because I had a friend one time who said it was supposed to be a girl. It turned out to be a boy.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
She was pushing that. And this was 12 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And she defriended me. And And I'll just tell you, this happens all the time. But really, if you want to get into an argument with somebody about fiscal policy or geopolitics or whether Iran's our friend or our enemy or whatever, that's fine. But if you want to actually tell me what to believe and what happens behind my closed doors, that conversation's over. Anytime somebody asks me, what if your child, shut the fuck up?
I wouldn't even listen to my mom. I pretty much told my mom, she, when I worked until Hayden was about 16 months old, and my mom watched her 2 days a week, and she wouldn't follow the schedule we had set for Hayden. We had her watching the Your Baby Can Read videos, and I said when she gets up from her nap, have her watch the video for 30 minutes. Do not rock her when you go to sleep. When she goes to sleep, she likes to put herself down, and she would not. She'd let her watch Baby Einstein. She wouldn't. Finally, I said I had enough. I said if you're not going to follow our schedule and our rules for her, then you're not going to watch her. I'll have her other babysitter watch her 4 days a week, and then you don't have to watch her.
Okay, here's an example. Leave a kid alone in a room and give them a gallon full of ice cream and a large pizza and a full 2-liter bottle of Coke and have them go ahead and eat lunch. And when you come back, 4 or 5 slices will be gone. Half a gallon of the ice cream will be put into a glass. The Coke will be filled up to the brim. It'll be all over the floor, all over the cabinet. They will have had 2 or 3 glasses of that and literally their face will be stuck to the table. If you believe that that person is ready for adult life, then you are completely delusional. And she will have poured it into the potted plants around the house and shared it with her dollies that are now covered with vanilla ice cream and Coca-Cola. These kids are not ready to make lifelong decisions. We are hardly ready to make lifelong decisions.
Ethan can't even put his shirt on correctly. Every morning for school, he comes down and his shirt is backwards.
Right.
Every
or his
morning.
His barn door is open.
The barn door's open and the chickens are getting out every morning without fail.
Yeah. It's just kids don't have the necessary tool sets to sustain, build, and maintain good decision making. And trial and error should be done on what am I going to have for lunch? Well, I'm going to have my 3rd burrito. Okay. And when you get the shits in 6th period and you can't get off the toilet, well, now you've learned. Or I'm going to have 1 beer instead of 3 because I know what happened to me last time that I was doing keg stands. Or I'm going to go ahead and not hang out with these people who are going to a dangerous neighborhood because the last time I almost got killed. Or no, I'm not going to go ahead and take that blue pill because my mom and dad have talked to me about fentanyl. Life experiences should be gradually intensified throughout age, not at 6 years old. You should not make a lifelong decision that a 25, 30, 40, 50-year-olds regret when you're 6. And that is the problem that the Democrats don't understand. They truly believe that every single person deserves equal treatment, no matter of age, talent, and that meritocracy is abhorrent. And this is the problem with Democrats. And this is why their policies don't work, because you cannot have the same policies in California. If you put the same water restrictions in the middle of Iowa, you will bankrupt Iowa within 1 fiscal year because they are so dependent on ag. You can't do what they do in California. So policies have to be different for different states. It has to be different for towns and different districts and different municipalities and cities. And it has to be different for people too. But that's the problem with liberals, is they think it's a one size fits all because they're fucking lazy.
Yeah, hell, even 18-year-olds aren't old enough to make that decision. There was, I don't know how many 18, 19-year-olds who are on their own for the first time renting apartments. We had to evict because constant noise complaints, because they would party every weekend and we'd give them noise complaints and then they'd be like, okay. Right. And then they do it again the next weekend.
Or they get the 3-bedroom instead of the 2-bedroom, or, you know, they have unreliable people they live with and they make bad decisions. We make bad decisions. We still make them as adults. It happens all the time. The difference is that we have a plethora of experience to address it. And liberals just believe that every child is a gift if they let them be born. And they deserve every accommodation that an adult should. All right, folks, listen, that's it for tonight. Visit The Dumb Show, please, thedumbshow.com. You can go over there and find some cool stuff, some T-shirts, coffee, hats, one like this. It's Red Friday. You can find the Veteran Red Friday shirt over there. If you go on over, there's also some blog articles. You can find all my podcasts, all my videos. You can listen to all the shows, past, current, and present, which is kind of a cool thing. You can also find, like I said, coffee, glasses, iPhone covers, great hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, all of it. If you go to thedumbshow.com. I don't answer anonymous callers, so I'm going to do it one time. All right, anonymous caller, what's your name and where are you from? All right, Greg, hey, we're signing off right now, right off, man. Here, let me get you on real quick, and then we're going to bounce, okay? I know who it is. No, you're not interrupting me. Hold on. I got to get you transferred over, though. Hold on. All right, we got Greg from Illinois. Greg, what's going on, buddy? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, Matt. So, I enjoyed the show today and everything, but I had a question for you. Actually, I had a couple of questions regarding what you mentioned about Stormy Daniels and like the whole Trump incident. Just the first question, can Bragg be charged with any kind of prosecutorial misconduct for bringing in cases with basically like insufficient evidence in front of the grand jury? The reason why I ask this is I don't know if you've seen the letter that Trump posted.
Yep, it was on my website.
Yeah. So how does that fit in there? Because it seems like
because it wasn't a sworn okay, I'll tell you, because it wasn't an affidavit. It wasn't a sworn testimony. It was a letter from his lawyer, third party, and he redacted and retracted that under oath. So although it doesn't look good for his credibility, it was openly admitted to. Donald Trump, in a series of tweets, also inadvertently admitted it too. He didn't admit to cloaking the payments and what the payments were, but he did openly admit to paying Cohen back. But once again, that's on Twitter. Under testimony is really all that matters. And a grand jury is not deciding the length of prosecution, is not deciding whether that person is guilty. It simply is moving the case forward like a preliminary hearing, but unlike a preliminary hearing, which can be public, a grand jury is supposed to be sealed and silent because it is such a larger case. It requires anonymity to protect the grand jury and protect the process of secrecy so they can get the most altruistic information that they have that wouldn't be tainted. Can Bragg be held accountable for falsifying? In this case, no, because what he did was legal. In this case, if all is true and the accusation is that he falsified records with the campaign to make a payment and changed what that payment was for, which was a lawyer's retainer or monthly salary, which was not what it was, that's a falsification of records, and that is a class 3 misdemeanor. No jail time, usually a fine, and it's a slap on the wrist. When you go ahead and add it to that it was actually attached to the campaign and the election, it then becomes an FEC violation and becomes what's known as election fraud, which there are many different variations of election fraud. I'm not saying he was trying to steal an election, but it is fraudulent. Dinesh D'Souza did the same thing when he doubled up his campaign contribution, and then Obama illegally went after him and weaponized the DOJ. But here's the thing, is that while he attaches that to the lesser crime, it enhances it to a felony, and he has the right to do so. Now, you can question on why he took so long. You can question on why he waved it off before. The grand jury, in his estimation, has found something that warrants him to attach it to another crime and bump it up to a felony. Whether that is correct, false, right, or indifferent, as a prosecutor and as a DA, he has every right to do that based upon his judgment, unless they can prove that there was something nefarious. Somebody strong-armed him, he bribed him, and that's a completely speculative conversation. But on the outside looking in, he has every right to do what he did.
Okay, because I mean, I guess I have the trouble understanding. I understand what you just said about this, but what happens if let's say Stormy Daniels is called as a witness, right, and is presented with this letter that, hey, did you sign this then? I mean, like,
Doesn't
how
matter.
do you?
Doesn't
Matter? Because I mean, like, if
Nope,
she says
because
no,
the grand
like,
jury, because the grand jury,
okay.
I've answered this and I'll answer it again. The grand jury looks at evidence as if all evidence is exculpatory and it's only prosecutorial evidence. There is nothing from the defense. There's nobody defending Trump in that room. And that is why a grand jury is different than a preliminary hearing. There's nobody defending Trump. Now, if they call him to testify and to make a sworn affidavit, which they did and he denied, that is his time to present and his lawyers to counteract or countercede any of this information and prove it to be false. When he did that, that usually pisses grand juries off to just a little bit of an nth. So to answer your question, there is no defense happening for Donald Trump in this process. This is to see if there is enough evidence to move forward with an indictment, and all of that will be uncovered in discovery and the actual trial that would take place based upon how severe the accusations are. If it's a misdemeanor, it'll probably be hopefully pled down. If it's a felony, they might seek a fucking death penalty. It just depends how disgruntled these people are. But that is the power of the DA. He doesn't have to go by precedent. He's prosecution. He does not have to judge what other cases have done unless it is in line with an appeal and his prosecution would be overturned based upon the defense using precedent to torpedo his case before it even gets started. That's what he's concerned about. He really doesn't care about what he charges and how long he charges, because that's not the conversation right now.
So basically, it's all about the indictment, but not so much about the conviction. Because what you're saying is his job is basically to indict, and then if
it's not his job to indict. It's the grand jury's job to indict. The only thing that okay. Just want to make sure you understand.
Okay. So, but if this would have went to trial, then Stormy Daniels is called, as a witness, and she says, "Well, we never had, like the relationship or whatever as per that letter." Then basically, the case is closed. Then, right?
No, because he still made the payment, and see, this isn't about the letter. This isn't about sex. This isn't about
it's the payment. But okay, but how do you prove that the payment was from his campaign finances?
Because we already know it was, because that's what the checks were from.
Okay.
He's the one that wrote them. Now, maybe not Donald Trump, but his administration, his people, his accountants, the people who are running the finances, wrote it off as a referral for the lawyer as a retainer or payment services rendered from legal, which it wasn't. It was a bribe, or it was hush money, and cloaked it that way in incremental pieces in order to avoid distraction, because it's not hush money unless there's a hush. Once you take hush away, it's just a bribe. It's not that it was illegal. If he just would have come out and said, I fucked her and I gave her $135,000 to shut up, no problem. There's nothing they could do, because he cloaked the way it was done and fraudulently paid her through campaign finance laws. It becomes a double whammy, and that's why he's being held accountable. Now, does this matter? It's probably all going to be thrown out anyway. Nobody wants to prosecute this because it's a complete fucking joke. But Bragg has to do it because he's getting outside pressure. 2 prosecutors that were highly coveted quit and walked when he took over, and Bragg was getting pressure. But once this whole thing exploded, Trump did the best thing he could do. He took the shock and awe and surprise away, because what the Democrats wanted, the only thing they wanted, was to get him in handcuffs and to take a photograph of it. The moment that he came out and said, hey, fuckers, they're going to arrest me on Tuesday, it completely changed the narrative and he became the victim. It was perfect. It was a brilliant strategy. And it's what Trump does. He's fucking a master at it.
Yeah. So, okay. Is it a possibility that Trump was unaware that someone from his campaign even made this kind of money? Because, I don't see how he would be aware. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he has people in place that would make such, I guess, the financial decisions. What goes through his, campaign. Is it possible that he was not aware and someone from his campaign wrote those checks out for whatever?
No, because he very carefully, he signed the checks, number one, his signature's on the payment. So right there, that immediately makes him culpable. Just like if I signed a check to somebody to kill my wife, I could just say, well, I didn't know they were going to kill my wife. I just signed the check. Intent is not necessary to prove guilt, except if you're Hillary Clinton, right? So in this case, he already admitted that he paid Cohen based upon the money that was paid to Stormy Daniels. He admitted doing it. And therefore, once he did that, now he was very careful how he said it, but he did admit it openly. Now, but here's the thing. It wasn't testimony. And any person is going to say Twitter was a parody account. This is what Donald Trump. So as Stormy Daniels is going to get off for saying, well, I said there was no sex and I wrote a letter. And Cohen said, and his attorney said that all of this was fraudulent. That's not going to be held up and it will be inadmissible because it wasn't under sworn testimony. That will not be held against Trump. So that's why there's no case here, is because everything is hearsay. None of it is exculpatory evidence. It is all conjecture. It is all supposition. And any good trial lawyer on both defense and prosecution will get all of this shit thrown out. And in the end, all you have is a payment to Stormy Daniels. That was a minor infraction based upon that it was falsifying records and how the payment was made. And that's not going to land him in jail. So this whole fucking thing is a joke on the right and the left. The right trying to fervently defend him and the left trying to condemn him. Both are a complete joke.
Yeah, I think, I think this is just my opinion that I think they just, the left is trying to do that to kind of cause, the Trump supporters to get mad. I don't know if you've seen,
Sure.
but, they were
Sure.
kind of saying that, all these Trump supporters, you had like the fake shaman out there, who I guess people identified him as some sort of an actor, basically pretending to be a Trump supporter. And you have all these, crazy pretending to be Trump supporters in front of the, Trump Tower and everything. So I don't know if they're just trying to kind of, cause some sort of a riot, by indicting Trump in hopes.
No,
that
bro,
this
they
will
want the
create-
photo. They want the perp walk.
Yeah.
That's what, dude.
Yeah.
You saw it in the headlines. What did the headlines say? Remember when I told you to do? Always go read the headlines, look at all three sides, and then balance the truth. This was synonymous with Putin and the actual, what was it? The AACP, whatever it was. What was that group that put out a warrant out for Putin's arrest and said for war crimes and everything? They maligned it with Trump.
Maybe. Yeah.
And they said Trump and Putin, days before arrest. I mean, these were the headlines. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to run the discredit machine. They're trying to continue to make him look corrupt, make him look like a criminal. And they wanted the perp walk. That's what it is. But the issue
No, I agree.
is,
I agree with that. Yeah.
but you also have that Bragg received a package today that had white powder in it. And it said, Aaron or Bragg, I will kill you. Now, immediately, all the left is saying, that's the right, that's the Trumps, that's the frickin' January 6ers, that's the frickin' MAGA ultra extremists who are trying to assassinate him. And then all the right are saying this is a false flag, this is the elite, this is the cabal, and you're all wrong. More likely than not, it was some crazy fucking dick or a prank that was doing it. And both of them have very little to do with political ideology, because anyone who sends a box of white powder to somebody is fucking off to begin with. Let's be honest. That person's not right in the head. Is it a false flag? I don't know. The pipe bombs at January 6th. I also question that type of stuff, man. I'm with you. But remember, in the scheme of things like we talked about last night, the simplest answer, no matter how improbable, once you take away all factors of unbelievability, no matter how unbelievable it is, and how small and infinitesimal it may have been in the forefront or back of your mind, is usually the truth. And that's Occam's razor expanded. I mean, that's defining Occam's razor to a point of almost nausea. The point is the simplest answer is usually true. This is probably somebody who's looking to stir shit up. It could be a Republican, it could be a Democrat, but it doesn't change a fucking thing. It doesn't change a thing. The whole point is, does Trump deserve to be in jail? The answer is no, not for this.
So, I mean, you don't foresee anything about Bragg getting in trouble for any of this kind of stuff?
I've already answered your question.
Okay, Matt, lastly, you did mention, regarding like Hillary Clinton's emails. I just have like one question on this. So she used her private server, right? But I mean, would that implicate Obama in any way into this, since she was his Secretary of State?
Nope.
And, but I mean, as a Secretary of State, if she's using a private server, right, don't like the emails have to be filtered out by the White House? So because I think her excuse, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't her excuse something that she never had a government account to begin with? That's why she was using a private server?
Let me sum this up for you. You're focusing on the curtains. You're focusing on the paint. You're focusing on the carpet, and you're not focusing on the body bleeding in the front of the floor. Here's what it comes down to. Hillary Clinton broke national security policy by stealing compartmentalized software from a SCIF and a secure server and put it on a private server and created a doorknob server, which basically means everybody gets a turn, where multiple hackers, multiple IPs, multiple countries hacked confidential information from the DNC, the State Department, and confidential top secret SCI information. Because if you want to know what the 30,000 that were deleted for, I promise you these were the most sensitive and these were the compartmentalized and were deleted. And we know some of this information that came out coincided with Snowden's release, Julian Assange's release, and were higher than top secret. They were SCI, classified code word type compartmentalized information that only that type of software can use. Hold on. So national security, she broke that. That's number one. That is 20 years in Leavenworth. The second thing she did is that she was ordered to cease and desist and to collect all and stop all destruction or processes to hide information. And the next day is when she got bleach bit. She destroyed the 30,000 emails, destroyed the BlackBerries and everything else. Hillary Clinton is the most guilty politician ever to serve in the United States by far. She deserves to be in prison for the rest of her life. But for you to say, is Obama responsible for that? As much as Donald Trump would be responsible for Rudy Giuliani and some of the shit that he did with Ukraine, or Paul Manafort did with Ukraine, and the reasons why they are locked up in prison, and Rudy Giuliani probably should be locked up in prison. You can't hold Donald Trump accountable for all of that either. But that's my answer to your question. Did Obama know? I would assume that he would know before anyone else for sure. Does that make him culpable? No.
Well, the reason why I asked it specifically is, because I don't know, or, I'm not clear if she even had a government account, but if she did not have one, wouldn't she need to register her, private email with the White House for any communication?
She had a government account. She didn't use the secure server in conjunction with that.
Just this. Okay.
Yeah.
So
back then, what they were using was VPN diode type, algorithms that were like 512 encryption keys, 512 megabyte encryption keys that were pretty solid. And these were exponentially degrading numbers every minute. They would punch it into the VPN. They would go through a secure login, and then they would ultimately host on a secure server. And that's about as much protection as you could have from an ELINT perspective. That's why you're supposed to use the SCIF for compartmentalized, because essentially it's a closed server. These are all air-gapped only to the network that is within inside. It is impenetrable. These things are running chaos algorithms to protect these systems. It is all basically copper meshed from any type of interference coming in. There's no internal lines that can be accessed. I mean, these things are fucking Fort Knox. That's why you have to be in a SCIF in order to access information. She broke that rule. The thing is she stole a compartmentalized piece of software and put it on a private server. Right there, that is espionage. That is treasonous. And if I did that when I was in, I would be in jail for the rest of my life, period.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Obama,
a lot of stuff that
I don't know. Listen, you know what I would get Obama for? I'd get him with pallets full of cash to Iran. I would get him for gun running into Mexico. I would get him for the division and the police officer slain in Dallas and his vernacular that kicked off that bullshit. I would get him for the Iran nuclear deal. I'd get him for the Paris Climate Accord. I would get him for plenty of other things over Hillary Clinton. Obama.
Well, it makes sense what you said, because like if he, if that's what she did, I just assumed that she just didn't have a government email, to begin with. So thanks for clarifying that part of it.
She did, but she didn't want to use Hillary Clinton. Listen, when you have dirt on everybody, she is a career politician. She is a former fucking first lady. She snaps her fingers. She gets what she wants. All I can tell you is that she doesn't want to play by the rules, and she never wanted to play by the rules. And she is an extremely secretive person. She's a master manipulator. She is a criminal. And I don't know what else to say to that. But honestly, when I look at Obama versus Biden, I don't have a lot of problem with Obama's presidency now that I'm watching Biden. I've got a lot of issues I have with Obama, but for fuck's sakes, I almost would rather have him right now.
We might still, there's a word that he's in the basement.
You can't have him as president. He can't be a third term, at least without seeing 100 million Americans rise up. You're not going to have a third term of him. That was done after Eisenhower or FDR.
Well, yeah, I know, but you know how he kind of stated that he wishes he would have someone he can whisper to the earpiece from the bottom of his basement.
He's been running the country for the last 2.5 years, bro.
Exactly.
He's been running this country, and if you think that Donald Trump shouldn't bow out, let DeSantis take it, or somebody else, Nikki Haley and DeSantis, let them take it. They're the youth of the party, and have Donald Trump run everything behind the scenes. You're crazy, because that's where he's the best. That he is Machiavellian, and have him run the entire country behind the scenes. That's what Donald Trump should do. But he's going to run, and we're going to see what's going to happen.
Okay, fair enough. Matt, thanks so much for answering my questions.
Good night, then. Hey, 2 nights in a row, man. That's nice to see. It's good talking to you. I enjoy our conversations. Did you have anything else? I don't want to kick you off.
No. That's it. I actually kind of wanted to comment, on this, but I'm still locked out of the chat over there. So
I don't know why. I've tried to find out why you're not a part of the chat, but I can't. I'm going to look at it tonight. I'll find out why. I don't know, bro.
Cool. I just enjoyed your show today. I figured I'd give you a call at the end. I didn't want to interrupt. I enjoyed the show. So,
yeah. And remember, you mentioned Hillary Clinton tonight. So don't turn off your cameras in your house, and don't accidentally fall on some bullets. Okay?
Well, in case I don't talk to you guys, you'll know why.
Yeah. Trust me, man. She'll get me too. She blocked me. I'm so honored. She fucking blocked me.
Consider yourself lucky, I guess, right?
No, man, I'm bummed out. I had to create a ghost account so I could find her shit, but she blocked me on Twitter. But I was like, I've made it. All right, man. I'll talk to you. I'm going to call you Gru from now on, right?
Yeah, I kind of figured you guys would give me that pet name, and yeah. So I guess
it's a winner, dude. It's a winner name. You do sound like him, though.
I still haven't seen the movie, I guess. So tell Olivia that I guess I'm gonna have to find out what the hype's about. And
well, she's listening. She's listening right now. So she calls you Gru, but she's got a smile on her face. So that's a good thing.
Well, I guess I'm going to be watching a lot of movies this weekend to kind of find out, what everything's about. But
Roger that.
All right, guys. Well, hey,
all right, buddy,
have a
talk
good
to you
one.
soon.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. That was a good conversation. I always appreciate it when a caller who didn't necessarily have the best first call comes in and makes a good call. Folks, do me a favor. Stop by the Don't Unfriend Me show. Tomorrow, Donald Trump will be doing a rally. It's his first. I will be hosting it. I'm not sure what time it starts, probably 7 or 8, but expect to see me on tomorrow night, and I will have that Donald Trump show on. But either way, God bless. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. I will have the show on tomorrow. I'm going to go watch the game and spend time with Olivia. I'll have the new show cut, and I will show it to you. Olivia?
Thanks for coming on. Night, y'all.
Good night, y'all. See y'all later. Bye.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help, and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call